Ooh, y'all, I got a lot of feelings. A lot of feelings, okay? So, I will be reviewing the Netflix series that just came out. What is it? Grand Army, okay? And Grand Army is about I think it's 10 episodes because that's normally how long like these Netflix series are. It's normally about 10 episodes, and it pretty much chronicles these students that go to, I think it's Grand Army High School or whatever, but one of the largest public schools in Brooklyn, Flatbush in particular, because that's the sign that I seen was like Flatbush Avenue a lot of times. So around that area, so many feelings. So look, I'm gonna break this up into episodes, right? So I'm gonna do review episodes 1 through 3 in this review. um I don't know, I'll probably be back up here tonight depending on if I'm able to get through it. But if not, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do three, four to you get what I'm saying? 1 to 3, then 4 to 9, you know what I mean. I'm gonna break them up. So before I really get into the ins and the depths and I go through each episode, I wanna say this about the show. I appreciate the show. So far, good. Very, 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 very good. Normally, I mean, so I want to put this out there. I know I look young, but I am young, but I'm not a teenager. I'm actually 26. So it's kind of hard for me to, in this, like at the age I'm at, it's kind of hard for me to get into like teen shows or shows that center around teenagers because I'm no longer a teenager. And it doesn't mean that I can't like, understand or empathize because I was that age not that long ago. But I don't know, it's just a little bit harder for me to get into teenage shows the older I get. I do like On My Block, that's actually my shit for real. But I seen that this was a little bit a different approach. This kind of sort of reminds me a little bit of Euphoria, which is with Zendaya that comes on HBO, except like way less like being drugged up all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I like it hits on a lot of different themes, and I'm gonna say this. I think a lot of the stuff that I'm gonna say people will agree with. Some things I'm gonna say people will not agree with. Remember, this is my channel, this is my opinion. But please get into the comments, tell me what y'all think. At first I thought about going character by character, but I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it episode by episode because at the end of the day I'm not finished with the series, so I want to go in the order that we are in. Also, before I go any further, I also want to say one of the main things I appreciate about this show is that, because okay, so I'm originally from New York City. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn all the way up to I was like 8 years old. Then I moved to the Bronx for a little bit, and then I moved to Far Rockaway, Queens. I no longer live in New York anymore, but of course I still have family up there, so I go all the time. I really appreciated the fact that not every single scene, but I noticed the majority of every place that there were. I'm pretty sure where John Ellis works is in the Atlantic Mall, which is like right across the street from the Barclays Center. Because I believe that's the mall that he was in. I believe that's the Target that he actually works in. So I thought it was cool for me to see that. Like I said, there was a lot of different areas. Even I even think that they went to like the what is it, the promenade or whatever, like at the end of the third episode with John and Dom or whatever. But so I like that part, that I can actually say, oh bitch, yeah, I know that. Oh bitch, yeah, they there. Oh yeah, they here. Oh yeah, they there. I like it. So for the most part, it does seem like they're actually filming the majority of this in Brooklyn. I appreciate that. Let's get to the shits because I got a lot to say and I don't got a lot of time here on my camera. So let's get to the shits. Okay, episode 1. We start off. We in a girls' locker room. You can't fuck with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red bottom, these is bloody shoes. Hit this stuff, I can get them both. I don't want to choose. I was like, okay, so we're starting on the right note here. Okay, we're starting on the right note. So we got these girls, they're in a locker room. Everybody's, hyped up, doing their little thing. So we cut to a little scene, right? And we see this white girl. She goes right into one of the stalls or whatever. And there's another white girl in there, and she's like in a whole lot of pain. She's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I need help, I need help, I need you to help me. Now at first I'm thinking, there was a couple things that was going through my mind. Number one, I was thinking, well, what the fuck is going on? Is the girl having like is she having like Like, is she having a baby? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like, was she like having like a stillborn? You know, I thought that, and then I thought, okay, maybe she has like a IUD or something that's stuck all the way up there, and she trying to get it out. But eventually, come to find out, the little girl had a fucking condom that was stuck up there. Okay, the little boy she was fucking done fucked her so much and done fucked her so damn hard that the condom got stuck up there. And she gonna say that the little boy told her, oh no, it's fine. It's not fine. Like the woman's, it's not okay. It's not okay. So let's throw some names on these people, seeing how we're here. So the girl who initially went into the star, her name is, wait, I just fucking had it, JoJo, okay? And she was helping one of her best friends, Gracie, okay? Gracie gets on my fucking nerves. I want to put that out there before we go any further. That little bitch gets on my nerves. We're on episode 3, but she gets on my damn nerves. She won't shut the fuck up. She's super fucking annoying, okay? Then we cut over to, we see Dom. Well, on here, it's like, it was spelled Domo, but I'm pretty sure it's Dom. Like, I think it's like for Dominique, I believe. I'm sorry, the brightness on my computer is super, 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 super low. Okay, and so she, she's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black girl. I love her braids. Her braids are, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And she's on the side and she's kind of talking to her friends, or whatever. Then, eventually, JoJo comes out, and she kind of shows the whole locker room, like, girl, she had a condom stuck up there, and throws it. Now, they said something about being a captain. Now, originally, I thought JoJo was the dance captain, but she's not yet. She's working on becoming the dance captain, of the team that they have or whatever. She takes the condom and she ends up throwing it, and it lands like at the feet of this Asian girl who we end up finding her name is Layla. Okay, and Layla is just kind of looking like, bitch, what the fuck? And so, she kind of runs out or whatever. Now, I'm sorry, it's going to be a whole lot of jumping back and forth because, of course, that's how the episodes went. Also, when we're introduced to Dawn, one of the first things that we're introduced to is the fact that she has a crush on this boy named John Ellis. She's sitting here twerking on his Instagram, page, saying how she'd sit on his face. Typical girl shit, makes all the sense in the world to me, okay? But she has yet to actually talk to this young man. I also like how they incorporate how much, of course, social media and text messaging is incorporated. See, I'm not a teenager anymore, but I do understand how, as an adult, Instagram and texting is all throughout your life. So I can only imagine how it is as a teenager. When I was in high school, Instagram wasn't a thing. Instagram really didn't start popping until I was like a senior in high school. But even when I was a senior in high school, it's like maybe like when Instagram first started, like when it was literally like just the camera, like as the logo, like the very first logo Instagram had. That's pretty much when Instagram kind of started for us. So when I was in high school, the main thing that we all kind of did was like, when I entered high school, we was phasing out of MySpace, and then like 10th, 11th, and 12th, it was more so focused on Facebook. But again, in 2009, 10, and 11, social media was starting to become a bigger thing, but it's not as heavily focused as it is now. So I can empathize a little bit with the kids of today, but not so much, because again, when I was in high school, social media was kind of around, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. So I just want to put that out there. So anyway, okay, so then we meet Sid. Sid is a Indian boy, okay? I believe he is a senior, okay? And when we meet him, he's out in the hallway joking around or whatever with his friends. He's on the swim team. So I think one of his teachers come up and like, hey, pretty much saying to him, like, we got to get on this essay for you to get into school. You know how you got to send in your little personal statement for you to get into college and stuff. And, he wasn't offered early admissions. So, she's like, we need to hurry up, get on this essay to try to get it together. Now, while all of that's going on, his girlfriend is sending him, snaps and stuff like that. And, of the school that she actually got into. So you could tell that that's bothering him a little bit. So then we switch over to Layla, okay, and Layla is in class. I'm going to assume it's like a Mandarin class or something, because it was mostly, everybody was speaking in Mandarin, except her. And, she's giving a speech on, what it is that she's going to, I think, do her paper on. While she's talking, you have these other, like, 3 Asian girls that's next to her, and, they're just kind of, they're pretty much making fun of her, because they're like, girl, you don't even know how to speak, Mandarin, you don't know how to speak Chinese or whatever, and, They kept calling her Anne Frank, and girl, you're not even really, Chinese or anything like that. Like, you're not even that. Pretty much, they was just making fun of the fact that, you know, she is more of an Americanized, Chinese person. I believe she's Chinese. Please, Lord, I hope that that's right. That she's a more of an American Chinese person versus, actually being from the country and knowing about her culture and stuff like that. Which that's like one of the main themes, like for Layla, is self-identity and her trying to find herself, which makes sense because we come to find out that she's actually a freshman in high school. I'm going to touch on that when we get there too. We're going to get there in a second. So, so she's texting somebody this whole time, talking about how she likes The Walking Dead. She's texting back and forth with her best friend about, she can't wait for her to come over so that they can do the Walking Dead marathon. But how the girls in class is calling her Anne Frank and she doesn't really get it. The girls also next to her also said, you not even really from, your homeland or whatever, but I bet you when you get that application, you're gonna mark that you are. See, that right there alone, I could spend a good I could spend a good 30 minutes on just that topic alone of immigration, not just immigration, but assimilation, specifically assimilation when it comes to people in the age, like in Asian culture and how it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into just that one line that girl said about you marking on the paper, though, that you probably were born over there. We can go to a whole tangent, but I'm not about to do it. We can go on a whole tangent about that. So yeah, so then we switch over, and I don't know why, but to this moment, I still have yet to write down. I think one of the boys' names was Jay, and I can't think of the other boy's name, but I'm gonna call them the black boys. I'm sorry, I'm black, so it's not a racist thing. I just really don't remember their names, and every time I have it down here, I just have like black boys because they was in a pair. There's one that got like a short haircut, and another one who got itty bitty dreads. But anyway, they're walking and they talking and they about themselves, and like I said, that's how I knew that they was on Flatbush because when they get out there, you see Flatbush Avenue, on the top or whatever. So they're walking, talking, about them getting into school and stuff. They're both saxophone players, so they're both talking about, how they want to do, the best it is that they can, so that they can get into a really good school. While they're walking, Jay kind of spots a man. He has like was he Indian or Muslim? Clearly he was Muslim. We come to find out, man. And he has this black duffel bag with him, and it's like all of these wires hanging out. He did look at him kind of funny, but he was like nothing. Kept walking. So they keep walking or whatever, and again they're talking about them getting into school and stuff. They end up running into the person that Dom has a crush on, John Ellis. John Ellis says he's going to go meet his mom or whatever the case may be. He's a senior. He said he got into Chapel Hill. Shout out to Chapel Hill. See that's I want to go there for law school. So shout out to Chapel Hill. Shout out to them for getting a fucking shout out. And shout out to him for because I don't know, is Chapel Hill technically an HBCU? I don't know. I believe that it is. But shout out to him for going to the HBCU. Shout out to him, okay? So eventually, everybody, Jay and his friend, they get back to the school or whatever. And as soon as he like gets through the doors, you hear an explosion. And everybody's like, what the look out the window. The same spot that Jay and his friend was just in, the little circle, that's pretty much what had blew up. So, of course, it's giving September 11th vibe. So let me put it out there. Now, I was in second or third grade when September 11th happened. I was still going to school in Brooklyn at the time. I'll put my little experience that happened of me being in New York or whatever. So again, I was in Brooklyn or whatever. I went to PS 215. No, not PS 215. Sorry, I went to PS 225 when I got to Queens. But regardless, the school I went to is directly next to the Brooklyn Children's Museum. That's the school I went to, okay? Anyway, so when September 11th happened or whatever, and it was, I can remember like it was yesterday, it was like super early in the morning, as we all know. We all in class or whatever. The day had pretty much just started for real. The principal come on the fucking speaker and is like, pretty much, says that there has been a tragedy or whatever. And the main reason I can really remember that day is because my teacher at the time, her husband was a firefighter. So when this initially happened, she zoomed her ass out of the class to call her husband to try to find him. And the whole time that we were there, like, I mean, teachers was coming to the room trying to make, she was freaking the hell out because she could not get in contact with her husband at all. It took her a long time. Eventually she was able to get in contact with him, and he was okay. He was down there helping, but he was okay. But that shit was crazy. People's parents was coming left and right to come to pick them up. Let me tell you something. My mama gonna say, because I mean, granted, my school was maybe, like, we lived on Pacific Street. My school was a good 4 blocks away from my actual house. So my mama, me and one other person was the only people there left by the end of the day. When my mom came and picked me up, she was like, girl, ain't no terrorists worry about no little black kids in fucking Brooklyn. I'm like, you don't know that. You could have still came and got me. But that's my September 11th story. Anyway, it was September 11th vibes. So, of course, you know, we have protocol now, especially in the city of New York. There's protocol when this type of shit happens. You got to get the kids to a certain place, get them the fuck away from the window. So, you know, they're getting everybody together. Everybody's kind of freaking the fuck out, right? Okay, so while we're getting everybody together, right? So everybody ended up getting into their little respective places. You know, Jay is trying to tell one of the girls that Dom is friends with, you know, that he actually seen them in. And of course, ain't nobody gonna fucking believe you. Nobody's gonna believe you, you know, at the fuck all, you know. But it is what it is. So everybody is now like in their little respective places, in their little emergency places, you know. Everybody's sitting on the steps. So we have what is this little boy's name again? I'm sorry, y'all, because it's a lot of different characters. Sid and the swim team are sitting on the steps or whatever. Now they're trying to put together this bomb pussy list. Let me tell you something. Do you know how real that shit is? Let me tell you, in high school, in middle school, there was always some list made by some bum ass, broke ass fucking boys who want to talk about how good. It's always a list floating around about what girl give good head, or the prettiest girl, or the ugliest girl, or whatever the fuck. It's always these lists in high school because they ain't got nothing better to do. But like I said, the biggest difference between when I was in school versus now is that y'all can actually take that shit and do it on Instagram and put it in the public, versus when I was in school, there was a piece of paper that kind of went around the school, and that was kind of it, never really left outside of that. So they're pretty much making a whole list on Instagram of girls with quote unquote bomb ass pussy. And of course, you know, they bring up Sid's sister, and of course he's like, bitch, you're not about to fucking put my sister on there. You know, they ask him about his girlfriend or whatever, and come to find out, you know, he has yet to have sex with his girlfriend, even though, you know, she's about to go off to school and he's about to go off to school. You know, he still has not. So they're sitting up there, like I said, trying to make the list, trying to come that together. And at the time, you know, Sid is, you know, he's texting his girlfriend to make sure that she's okay, and he's also texting his sister, you know, to make sure that she's okay as well. Okay. So he ends up asking one of the teachers, you know, if he can go see his sister. She's only like maybe 2-3 doors down. So he lets her go. On his way to see his sister, he sees Layla on the middle of the floor, and she's crying, you know, in the hallway. She's crying. And of course, she's upset, you know, with she's getting picked on. You know, she didn't, you know, the fact that JoJo fucking threw that condom in front of her. You fucking with her just to fuck with her. The girls in the, you know, in the Mandarin class is fucking with her. So, you know, she's just having a rough time. She's pretty much talked about, you know, how she was born in China, but she was adopted, you know, by two white, you know, people, whatever, they're Jewish. And, you know, she talks about, you know, how hard it is. You know, she's like, 8th grade, I was good. But now that I'm in 9th grade, it's so hard, and it's so hard to get along with people. And that's something I wanted to touch on, too. I think this is everywhere, and it's not just specific to New York or to Brooklyn. It's everywhere. The transition from 8th grade to 9th grade, I think a lot of times people underestimate. It's a hell of a transition. I mean, it's a hell of a transition. Middle school to high school, I'm serious. It's a mental. It's beyond just going to the next grade, because you're going from, like she said, in 8th grade. First of all, if you want to talk about the work period, the way you work in middle school is not the same once you get to high school. Once you get into high school, nobody's going to be on your ass the way that they was in middle school. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are not going to be on you as much. The work is a little bit tougher. The work is a little bit more different. And then also the social cues are completely different as well. Because you got to remember, when you're in high school, a lot of times you're in high school with grown ass people. Like seniors and stuff, a lot of times they're 18 years old. So you are no longer just with little ass kids. You are literally with grown ass fucking people at this point. 16-year-olds. Remember, you 14 walking into high school. You in there with people who can now drive, people who about to go to college. You know, a lot of times people in high school be messing with people who was in college. It's a lot that goes on. And specifically, I feel like it's definitely harder when in a place like New York, and not like, again, not just in New York, but I'm only speaking there because of from what I know. But you know, a lot of times you don't go to the same high school as you did. You don't, a lot of times you don't go to the same high school like that you with the same people that you went to middle school or elementary with. A lot of times it doesn't work that way. You kind of go to either whatever high school your parents probably feel is best, or maybe what's ever in your proximity, versus like somewhere where I'm at now, Pittsburgh, for the most part, as long as you kind of live in the same place, almost everybody is going to go to the same school from the time that they're in kindergarten all the way to the time that they graduate high school. So a lot of times, like I said, the people that you've gone to elementary and middle school with, you're going to end up going to high school with the majority of the time. But in other places, bigger cities and stuff, where the school systems are set up a little bit different, it's not really like that a lot of times. So yeah, I wanted to point that out. How much time I got? Look, I got 20 minutes and I'm only on episode 1, y'all. I'm gonna probably have to break this up. I'm gonna have to. Okay, so then, so we got so yeah, so then we go over. Sid finally gets to the classroom, with his sister or whatever, and of course, because Layla end up following him and say, I'm gonna come with you. She ends up seeing her best friend in the class too. So they're sitting there and they're talking, whatever. So the swim team texts Sid and pretty much is like, hey, like, if you don't give us another name, we're gonna put your sister on the list. So he looks at Layla and he's like, he just gives them her name because she gave him his full name. They're like, look, this girl, the Jap or whatever, mind you, she ain't even Japanese or whatever. And so we switch back over and we got Grace and JoJo. They're talking. They're coming out of the locker room or whatever. And Grace is freaking the fuck out because she think that she pregnant when she not. And we find out that JoJo got some damn daddy issues that she need to fucking work through. Let's talk about this part right here. Okay, so everybody's on the staircase, like I said. So we go back to Dom, okay? Dom is having a conversations with her girls or whatever about, the fact that she liked John Ellis and this party that's coming up and whether or not she's gonna go. Dom is saying that she can't go because she has stuff to do as far as her siblings. She's very, responsible for the people within her family, especially her younger siblings. And so prior to them, while they were going up the steps, one of the guys, I think Jay had bet one of her friends, like, hey, you won't give me $25 if I slide down this banister, which he ended up doing or whatever. So now his whole thing is, oh, where's my money? She's like, I don't have no money and I'm not about to give it to you anyway. So the other friend with the little dreads takes Dom's purse and starts going through her bag or whatever, and she's like, yo, give me my shit, I'm not playing. So while she's doing that, mind you, at this point, JoJo is already in the same vicinity as she is. So she stands up and she's like, hey, give her stuff back. And Dom's like, mind your business. Talking to them, give me my stuff back. They end up, taking her wallet out, throwing it back and forth. But she was like, stop fucking playing, I need my money. Eventually, them throwing it around, they drop it and it falls all the way down. Because they're up a couple steps, it falls all the way down. So at this point, JoJo tries to jump in and it's like, what the fuck is y'all doing? Y'all need to stop. Blah, blah, blah. Dom's like, bitch, mind your fucking business. What's wrong with y'all? Blah, 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 blah. So then one of the teachers come up. Now, this teacher in particular, a couple seconds ago, was just popping a whole bunch of pills because she's stressed out. She probably having PTSD from 9/11. So she snapped the hell out on JoJo randomly and says, because, JoJo had just came from gym, so she has these shorts on. She go, you ain't got nothing to cover yourself up. You out here looking crazy. Like, you need to go ahead and cover yourself up. She's like, oh, so they just stole some shit. But you talking about me and what it is that I need to do to cover up. So, again, Dom is like, bitch, mind your business. So they go downstairs. Her and the teacher go downstairs pretty much to go, and find it. And she says, both of y'all in trouble because that's Steph at the end of the day. She go downstairs. She do find her wallet. But when she comes upstairs, they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We didn't mean it. They're like, is everything okay? No, bitch, I lost $200. And she had just finished telling her friends how she had that money she was going to pay for her siblings. I think it was to take fencing classes or whatever. That money is not gone. So now they feel, bad as hell, whatever the case may be. They feel all bad and shit, okay? So, then we switch back over to the classroom with Sid and Layla and everybody else, right? So everybody is getting, the little notifications that I'm on pussy list. So they're like, girl, you on this list? And she looks and it's like Jack pussy or whatever. Now, at first, you would think, now, she puts two and two together, like the fact that Sid probably is the one who said her name. But she doesn't take it offensively. She's actually happy. So she's like, so what do that mean? That means they want to fuck me? Like, oh my gosh. She just gets way, way too hyped and amped off of it. Now, you got to remember, this little girl's amped because just a couple minutes ago, she was crying because she felt like nobody liked her. So now that she's on the bomb pussy list, she's super excited. She thinks she that bitch. All of this other stuff, even though she ain't never fucked nobody a day in her fucking life, as far as I'm fucking concerned, okay? So then everybody's like, where the fuck is John Ellis? Because remember, like I said, we seen him going towards that way when Jay and the boy was coming this way, so nobody can find John Ellis. He ended up leaving school early. So everybody's kind of, freaking out about that. I didn't want to point out that they said it was on Grant and Pacific Street, and again, like I said, I lived on Pacific Street. Shout out to Pacific Street, okay? So Layla ends up having, like, a dream or whatever, and in her dream it's like a mix between The Walking Dead and then her turning into a superhero called Bomb Pussy. I'm like, oh, this little bitch gonna let this shit go to her head. I know too much. I know, if you are a girl, if you are a female, you know this girl. Like, you've went to school with this girl, or you've been friends with this girl, or you've been we all know that girl, especially about once you get to high school and the boys start flocking a little bit around, how them girls start acting different. One of the main things that I was told before I went to high school is a lot of your friends is about to start acting real different, specifically because of boys. They about to start acting real funny style, and Layla's one of them girls. She's that girl. She started to feel herself a little bit too fucking much, okay? But then, we got the Jay and his friend, they pretty much are trying to get the money back that they took from, that they end up losing, for Dom while they were throwing everything around. So they sell some records or whatever to try to get a little bit of money. The party ends up coming, okay? So we got JoJo walking around, coming through with her friends and stuff like that, and her best friend, and there's a whole little triangle, not triangle, but JoJo is into her best friend, who is another friend that she has named Grace, into her brother, who his name is Tim. But they don't really they wanna kind of do a thing, but they don't, because the sister, and they don't want to kind of fuck up that friendship and what they got going on there. So anyway, they're on their way to the party. They end up seeing Layla getting out the car, because Layla ended up asking her parents if she could go. They end up dropping her off. Now, she did have this little short dress on, but they was really picking on her. Like, that. I don't like people like that. Like, you fucking with her just to fuck with her, and it's really annoying. I hate people like that. Like, they was fucking with that girl just to fuck with her, okay? So John Ellis ended up coming to the party. That nigga's alive, okay? So Dom's friends end up FaceTiming her because she's at home taking care of the home front like she should, okay? And, she's all geeked and shit. Layla was too eager, okay? She walked in that party. That little girl was ready to get, excuse my language, she was ready to get pounded. She was too excited to get fucked, okay? Too fucking excited. Now, this is about to be a whole lot of he say, she say, and a lot of different names, so I need y'all to keep up with me, okay? So, like I said, Grace, who is JoJo's best friend. Now, the condom that she had stuck up from her was from this guy named George that's in their friend group. George is at the party and ends up hooking up with Layla, okay? Layla, again, is so fucking excited about all of this other shit, and, whatever the case may be. And Grace ends up seeing them together, and she gets mad as hell, and she pours out, a drink on top of Layla's head. See, that right there, little bitch, you would have got dragged right then and there. Because, see, I'm not playing those games. You mad because I got the dick that you used to have? I'll beat your ass behind some shit like that. But anyway, so... yeah, so then we have, JoJo and, like I said, the guy Tim. Them two are kind of vibing, whatever, and eventually, she kind of tired of the party. They end up leaving, and the most unrealistic thing was the end is the fact that they hopped on the back of that train and, just held on there while the train was going. There is no way on God's green earth that y'all would have been able to be back there. The conductor, the people that's in between would have came out and told y'all had to move. Y'all wouldn't have been able to sit on there. Absolutely not. Unless it was dumb late at night, there's no way in hell, because people have died that way. I want y'all to know, people have died doing that shit, okay? Conductors have died sticking their heads out the fucking window while the train's going like that. So there's no way in hell that they would have let y'all motherfuckers stay up there like that. Now, I ain't got that much time here. I'm so pissed. I thought I was going to be able to do all the episodes in one, but I can't. So I guess I'll be back with episode 2. But the themes that I really want to touch on, because, see, I was wondering why Dom was so against JoJo helping her, but we gonna get into it with the next fucking episode. So all I'm gonna say as far as episode 1 is, I think episode 1 was good as far as laying a basis for us, and you know, like I said, giving us a good basis of the storyline of the characters that we're gonna be dealing with. Bitch, we about to get into it. I'm gonna record episode 2 and 3. I'm gonna kind of shorten it up. We about to get into it.